Hey guys, welcome back to the NRL Dom podcast. We're here with the Whisperer today to do what I've been asked to do for a few weeks now. I keep on ducking it, I keep on diving it. Getting the top 50 done, kinda. Like, it's kind of a top 50, isn't it?
Yeah, it's. I guess it gives better insight as to how we're thinking. I guess when it comes to draft day, we're so close, man. So like, we've got to get prepped. I reckon
We were meant to draft today.
we were.
And then because of half my city's underwater, some blokes couldn't draft. So thoughts and prayers to everyone out here that is swimming to work tomorrow. But we digress. We move on. So a lot of people messaging me over the last week that you have already drafted, and I was trying to help you out during your drafts. That's always a bit tricky, considering there was like for some 5 minute timers on some blokes. I tried to help you out where I could, but anyway, if for those of you that are drafting this weekend, which I always recommend doing, we're doing the top 50. There's actually 56, 57 guys in here, but we're tier listing them. So we got first rounder, second to third, fourth to fifth is what it is, which is kind of like if you grab this guy, that's probably good. He's got some value, but if you miss him, I wouldn't stress. Like you don't reach on these guys. And then the last here, not touching him. So the way we've got these guys is we've got the top 50 averaging from last year on Supercoach. Plus, I added a couple guys in there that are kind of something to think about too. But as we've chucked them into the tier lister, it's muddled them all up. So this isn't in order. We're just going to start grabbing guys and talking about them and hopefully get it in a nice little package for you boys.
Yeah, plenty of guys don't do any prep. They just look at averages from last year. So Don and I thought this would be the best way to do it. That way we can sort it by averages. Because I'm telling you right now, there's plenty of guys in this list here that will definitely fall outside the top 50, and rightfully so. So hopefully this tier list can give you a bit of a hand.
All right, well, you do the honors. You start us off. Who we got first?
Uh, up first. It's interesting. So I'm assuming my eyesight is not fantastic. Does that look like Tommy Turbo to you?
It's
That's
Daily
DCE.
Cherry Evans.
DCE, interesting one. I think he's borderline. He's borderline first rounder, top of the second. I feel personally, and I guess we'll have the debate as to where we put him. I'm probably going to lean towards him being in that second to third tier.
Yeah, yeah.
First, if the halfbacks go mental, and you're desperately looking for one, but yeah, DCE halfback two. Is it fair to say?
Yeah. Yeah, I reckon he's probably number two. He's in there fighting with Nico Hines as much as people don't want to believe it. People like you. But he's in there in the fight, I believe. But DCE, you know what you're going to get off him. He's going to be playing off the back of Tommy's hip all year if everything goes to plan. And like I always say, if you don't think Tommy's going to be fit and that's why you're not drafting Manly players, rearrange your list to not have him first overall then. So I've got I got Turbo up in for first round. So by rights, you got to put DCE second to third easily. He doesn't drop out of the third round whatsoever.
Absolutely not. Mate, we're debating whether we're taking him with the first. So
Yeah.
not a chance he drops out of the third. If you can pick DCE up midway through the second, I think you've done very well.
Yeah, definitely. Well, moving on.
Nathan Cleary, mate. I don't think there's any
Yeah.
any debate here. He's the consensus.
First round.
He's the consensus two pick, and I think he's the consensus two pick for a reason. People are worried about the shoulder injury, but premierships in draft are not won in the first month. Just make sure you get to finals. If you got a hobble in there, you got a hobble in there. But Cleary will be primed for your finals run.
No, I'm happy for Cleary to be up there. I think everyone is. Some people asking me if he's still safe to take. Some people asking, should we take Teddy at 2? Listen, I don't hate it. Like, I don't hate it. I don't hate it. But no, you take Cleary there unless you got this a massive gut feeling and you're going to kill yourself if you watch Teddy explode this year. You take Cleary at 2. Josh wouldn't take Teddy probably 16th overall the way he's talked about him all off season, but yeah.
Not that bad. Mate, imagine if you had the third pick and you saw Cleary fell to you.
Yeah, I know. Hey, in my home league, we draft next Saturday. If we are still above ground up here in Brizzy, we draft next Saturday, and the guy picking second overall has gone on the record saying he's not taking Cleary. But he's also said he's not taking Teddy either. So he's leaving us all in limbo. And God, I wish that I was still picking third overall. I traded away my pick. And gosh, I wish that I kept that.
Is he hoping that the Turbo falls to 2?
He's clearly not thinking. That's what's happening. He's clearly not thinking at all.
Mate, there was no argument when it comes to Cleary being in the first round. How about the Warwick Farms on Fafita? He's looking lean. He's looking really good.
Yeah.
The All-Star game, like really just put the nail on the head for me that he is the consensus top 10 pick.
Yeah, listen, and I've got stock images for everyone except Dave Fafita because, Jesus, I've been saying it, the Titans media team have been capturing this guy's angles beautifully. I said it on a rub down episode a week or so ago. You know when players come back from injury and you look at them and they just seem like they're locked in?
Yeah.
This guy hasn't even been injured and his face looks like he's been hurt for the last decade. He looks so locked in these videos. And then obviously what he did at the All-Stars game, that run down the sideline. Whoo! Like this guy, if he has one highlight reel, that's your trade policy right there. If he's not doing the numbers for you, he's gonna get on a highlight reel one week. You're gonna be able to flip him. So yeah, first rounder for me. I took him fifth in the dynasty league. I'm drafting fifth in a league that me and you are doing. Hell, I might take him fifth in a redraft. I'm that hot on him.
Yeah, I'm very keen on Fafita. For me, he falls somewhere between that 6th and 8th, or even 9th, depending on your priorities. But yeah, he is the 2RF that is definitely worth it because he has the upside of a 150-point game.
All right, moving on. Is that Matt Duffy I see?
It is, and this is an interesting one because no doubt quality player, not in a quality side though. That's the biggest thing, and I feel this year, Donny, personally, there's a lot of these next tier fullbacks. So you guys outside your Paps, your Turbos, your Teddies, your Latrells. There's probably 6 or 7 guys here that you could all jumble in. That's why I'm not overly keen to reach so much for these guys. And I'd probably have Duffy somewhere between middling 3rd and early 4th.
Listen, this guy should be in the 4th to 5th range, right? But in my opinion, because there's so many fullbacks, I kind of put him into it is what it is. Because if you don't get Matt, you're going to get Will, or you're going to get maybe Reese, or you're going to get one of these other guys. So it's like that's probably where you're going to want to take him, in that 3rd to 5th bracket area. In my opinion, 4th to 5th for Matt Duffy. But if you don't get him, and if there isn't a run on fullbacks happening, sit back. Because if he's there, he's there, and if he's not, he's not. I mean, I'm of the opinion, after watching him play 2 trial games, maybe pick up Sloan instead of a Matt Duffy. You know, Sloan might be available after Matt Duffy if we're going off averages. So I'm happy to put him in. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
I'm happy with that, mate. Yeah, if you don't get Duffy, I wouldn't be losing sleep over it. But if you end up with him at a pretty juicy area around that sort of 3rd, 4th, you're doing fist bumps. So it's one of those ones where don't lose too much sleep over it. Mate, AFB is in the Manly jersey. We just couldn't.
Yeah.
You couldn't be bothered to find a New Zealand one, or
we don't have the technology up here in Brisbane right now. We're underwater. I don't know if I mentioned it. So
I am so keen. I'm so keen on AFB. I don't know where to put him, but
I know. You know, this guy, he was not in the top 50, but I knew you were coming on here, so I'm like, all right, we got to chuck him in there. He's got to be one of the wild cards.
Problem is, if this was classic, he'd be in top tier for me. But front row forward in draft, there's so many guys that average like 50. AFB is going to get you 65, I reckon. That's sort of where I've penned him in. Is it worth reaching for 15 points when you can take some better options? Like, I think you hit the nail on the head, mate. Like you said, is having one of the best front row forwards is like having one of the cleanest cars before a demolition derby. It's is it worth it in draft? And that's the thing. Like, a lot of the guys watching this on my YouTube channel will be classic guys, and if you're venturing into draft, very, very different strategies, isn't it, Donny?
Yeah, I mean, especially with your front row forwards. It's strange, though, because it never used to be this way. Probably not always with the front rowers. The second row is more so. But a guy like AFB, if you were able to tell me 3 years ago, 2 years ago, here's a guy to get you 65 points a week, I'd bite your fucking hand off, really. I'd be trying to get him in. But now in the game that we play, where the ceilings matter so much, he's not a league winner, and that's what you're doing in your top 50 guys. They're league winners, or at least have potential to be. Once you start getting out of the 30, it gets a little bit more tricky. But if you have AFB, it's a security blanket cowards move, I believe. So there's going to be guys out there like Lindsay Collins. You know, Lindsay Collins isn't going to get drafted over this guy at all, but he's going to do the same thing for you. Like, it is a safety blanket, and I know when you get in the draft, you go, oh, that didn't go my way, that didn't go my way. Oh, at least there's a name there that I know. Yeah. Nah, don't do it to yourselves. It is what it is. If you grab him, you grab him. If you don't, you shouldn't be losing sleep over it.
Do you want to know what I'm feeling with this one?
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah, lock that in. Lock that in.
It is. Hey, what are we doing? What are we doing here, man?
That's Sione Katoa.
Big Sione Katoa. I don't know. Is he on the... There's reports, take this with a grain of salt, but like there's reports that if anyone's going to be shifted out of this back line for the Sharks to make way for Ikavalu, they're talking about Katoa.
Yeah, I'm not touching him.
I'm kind of feeling not touching him.
I don't take risks in the top 50. Risks like that. I'm not the one that answers those questions. You know what I mean? So, especially for a guy like Katoa. if we're talking about where's Brett Morris playing, all right, you take the punt on Brett. But if it's Sione Katoa, what's he going to do for you that other wingers aren't? I'm not touching him in the top 50. Nah.
No, I'm pretty happy with that. This one, though, big IPAP, Isaiah Papali'i. One of the most interesting chats I reckon we could have with draft this preseason, man, because under normal circumstances, if Brad Arthur wasn't a nutcase and played him where his best potential lies, first rounder. But
at least second or third. But I mean, yeah, there's got to be some regression there, right?
Of course, and not only the regression, but maybe he plays in the middle. I mean, Ryan Madison was suspended at the back end of last year before finals, so that's a second rower down, and Brad Arthur still chose to play ice in the middle. That's worrying. Yep. That's worrying for me. But I guess the saving grace is Matto looks like he's playing a bit of lock, so maybe there is some minutes on the edge, but I'm feeling a 4th to 5th here.
And I'm happy to put 4th to 5th on him. Even though what we're just saying about AFB kind of translates to this, you do have that duel. The Warriors aren't the Parramatta Eels, and I just think there's a little bit more security there, and obviously he could go huge. So I'm not that hot in him. I probably wouldn't be the guy to pull the trigger, but I cannot blame anyone for doing it if you whack him in 4th to 5th.
Yeah, that's sort of where I'm feeling when it comes to IPAP. Mr. Headgear, Jerome Hughes. Tell me about Romy.
Yeah, well, currently, I don't know if you saw today, he is going for presidency for the Headgear Society.
I did see that.
Up against Kalen Ponga and Reed Marnie. Very interesting this year. As a former Headgear Society member myself back in the under-13s, Brothers Div 3 premiership winning side. Founding member, actually, me and Steve Menzies. But Jerome Hughes, if he keeps that headgear on, I'm pretty confident that he's a 2nd or 3rd rounder. I'm a bit nervous because in his past, he has played without headgear and he has done okay. So maybe he gets a bit frustrated one day and goes, it's the headgear that's doing it to me. But I'm telling you, Jerome, you keep that headgear on and I'm picking you in the 2nd or 3rd round, brother.
He's the opposite of Reece Welch. Remember when Reece Welch burst on the scene? He had the...
we don't talk about that.
We
don't talk about that.
We
don't talk about that. Yes, I remember. I was at Magic Round. He started with the headgear on, and halfway through the game took it off and broke the hearts of millions.
Yeah.
We don't talk about that. That's why Reece Walsh isn't in this top 50. I got nothing nice to say about him. Sorry.
I'm feeling headgear Jerome Hughes at round 2 or 3, but headgear only permitted.
Oh yeah, it's such a monster if he comes out with a shaved face.
No headgear, not touching him. With headgear 2 to 3.
Oh yeah, absolutely,
100%.
If there was a tier under not touching him, I'd put him there just for a betrayal. If there was a betrayal column, I'd probably put him there. But yeah, 2 to 3, I like that. Jerome Hughes, in all seriousness, throbber. Like he's in as far as halfbacks go. We were talking about Nico and DCE. Throw Jerome in there, probably over Nico for me right now. Jerome, I always forget about him.
Yeah.
Like I always when I'm looking, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. But whenever I come up against him, I go, oh fuck, he could really do anything, couldn't he? So yeah.
The only problem that I've got with Jerome Hughes, and this is a very slight concern, is we've probably seen his best Supercoach wise, and that was probably last year. Do I feel there's a regression? Probably. It's a big one. No. Do I think he'll let you down and average 50? No. I think this is sort of where Jerome is. He's not gonna be that 85-point guy, but he'll be thereabouts. Like that Melbourne Storm side is loaded. And I mean, against the Tigers, mate, when it's just him, and if Pappy's out, if it's just Jerome, we could be on for anything.
Yeah. These next two guys, Luke Thompson and Josh Jackson, might as well do them at the same time. Not interested.
Josh Jackson, it is what it is for me, but Luke Thompson, I'm not touching.
Okay, yeah, I can do that. If you get Luke, don't touch Lukey. If you get Joshy, that's okay. I just think with the doggies, they've brought in pretty much transplanted a whole new pack. So it's just how they're going to play it. What are they going to do? What are they going to be like? Not interested.
Not interested in Lukey, but there is a little bit of interest in Josh, only if he falls to the right areas for me, which I'm thinking late 5th for Josh Jackson. That's sort of,
whack him in there. Yeah,
that's sort of where I'd be taking you. Anything before, and if someone takes Josh Jackson late in the 3rd or early in the 4th, I think you've come at the bet
purely off average if they're doing that. Eh?
Whereas I think he'll regress a little bit, but he's still definitely a solid 2RF to have if you can pick him up 5th, 6th round. You've done well. Hey, Reed Marnie, another member of the Headgear Society. I think he might be joining his mate Jerome Hughes in the 2nd to 3rd category.
Yeah, this is a guy that we've kind of not spoken enough about over the whole preseason. It's a guy that's not getting a lot of love. A lot of us going a bit cold on him. But, bro, the way he played yesterday, yeah, it got me very excited. Very, very excited. Was just in everything. He was just everywhere. And that's what you need to do for Supercoach. You need to be everywhere and do everything. And second or third round, I like it a lot. When a guy like Harry Grant, who when I was looking at it again today, a lot of people have Grant fourth, fifth, right?
Yeah.
I can't do it because this is a guy that averaged less than Munster last year, and we're dropping Munster down boards because he's boring and does the same thing every week. So it's like if you're gonna let a guy like Harry Grant go that early and discount Munster for the same reason, and the only reason that Harry's up there is because he plays hooker, well, grab your ceiling guy in round one. And then grab a thrower like Reed Marnie in round 2 or 3. I mean, what are we talking about? Hell, you'll probably if you're in a league, you could probably grab Money and Marnie. Eminem right there. You could probably do it.
Yeah,
if you're picking like seventh, eighth in your league, on the way back, Reed Marnie's there for you. Grab Money and Marnie. I like that instead of blowing Harry Grant out that early.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. I don't mind the double M stack, and you'd be able to pick them up at a reasonable sort of rate.
They're guys that people just like are not interested in right now. They're just like, oh, that's boring. But then they're like, oh, Harry Grant. And like, obviously Harry does have ceiling games, but what's his ceiling? 110?
Yeah.
Like, does he push past 110 ever? So yeah.
And that we'll make it no secret. We're gonna put Harry Grant as a first rounder.
But it just is what it is, and that's consensus on it more than anything.
Is the difference in points that Harry Grant's going to get you over what Reed's going to get you worth bombing a first round pick? Like, what do we reckon Harry's going to average? Maybe 80 points if he plays the full 80, and Reed will get you 67, 68.
I think putting Harry Grant in the first round is a bit of a do as I say, not as I do type of move. Like he's there on merit, but I'm not for me. But we'll get to him when we get to him. We've got a guy like Joey Manu right
Joey Manu would fullback first rounder, but playing centre, different proposition. He's an absolute stud fullback, no doubt about it.
Well, the news out of Bondi is he's going to be playing that sweeping role, isn't he?
Yeah, the roaming turbo role, as we now call it.
Yeah. So, listen, Joey's always been a guy that's not hella relevant in Supercoach. Like, on the pitch, watching him play footy. Are you kidding me right now? Like, is there many more exciting guys? And in that team, he has so many weapons. But that's the problem when it comes to Supercoach. He's sharing touches, and he's out there on the edge. So he's sharing even fewer touches. So in Supercoach, he just doesn't have a game that can inject himself enough. Don't get me wrong. He's going to have games where people are upset that he's playing them. But it is what it is. If you grab him, absolutely great center wing option. Do not touch him at fullback. It's just a bit like, I mean, in a pinch you do it, but he shouldn't be on your fullback like eyesight. You shouldn't be looking to grab him as a fullback. But center wing options, geez, yeah, he's up there for center wing options. But he's one of those center wings where you're like, I'm not. He's not going looking for work, is he?
He's your guy come Origin that you're like, split. I can just chuck Joey Manu down for fullback for a week or two and cover a role. Yeah, I was looking at it is what it is or fourth or fifth. It's tough.
I'll go it is what it is on that.
I'm feeling it is what it is too. Like Joey Manu, phenomenal player, might average 60, but people might overdraft him based off name value alone. So you might get yourself...
Don't get into those pissing matches.
Yeah, exactly.
When big names start coming off the board, like Joey Manu goes when OG Papali'i goes and Marty Tapau goes. You know what I mean? When guys start looking, who do I know? And that's when Joey Manu goes, so yeah.
Speaking of drafting off big names, none bigger than Payne Haas. The best front row forward in the world. You can give me James Fisher-Harris all you want. I'm taking Payne. And that...
He's a second or third rounder.
Him being the best front row forward, him being an absolute workhorse, all things should point towards him being a first round pick, you'd think, surely, but not for me. He's a guy that he doesn't have the upside of a Fafita or a Cleary or a Turbo or a Teddy. He's not going to pump you out 140, 150. He's a very, very solid hand to get on the way back because he's just going to pump you out 70s week in, week out. He's the classic fan's ultimate dream. But in draft, when you're very limited as to who you can pick, Payne, he just doesn't present any kind of upside or value for the first round for me.
The good thing about Payne Haas is his worst day is his best day.
Yeah.
They're the same thing.
But the bad thing about
that's a good thing.
The bad thing about
you look at some of these other guys like DCE, a bad day for DCE, he's on 20-odd points. So a good day and a bad day for Payne are very similar. As painful as it is to say, because I've been looking at Payne Haas with a bit of a judgmental eye over the off season. One of those guys that, like a Luke Keary, that I try and chop, who actually isn't even in this list, which actually we might have to add in there. I've just realised he wasn't in the top 50 last year. But just a guy that I chopped down a little bit at the legs, just because there's a bit too much hype on him. Should you not draft Payne Haas? I would never say that. Silly thing to say. I just hope you know when you draft Payne Haas that you're probably giving up someone that could blow a ceiling open. But if you've secured your first rounder, Payne could be there at 20. If you're in a 10-man, he could be there at 20.
Yeah.
If you get Tommy Turbo and then back that up with Payne Haas, well, yeah, bloody oath. Yeah. You got your ceiling and you got it sorted. Even if you get a Pappy and a Payne, I think that's what you did in Dynasty. You get Pappy and Payne, you got your ceiling and you got your base, and that's good because as far as base goes, yeah, he's a base boy. He's not a ceiling fraud at all. So he's a second or third rounder, but just know he is what he is, and don't expect him. Oh, Payne Haas scored 150 this week. I think he's got 2 odd tries in his whole NRL career. So, but he looked all right last night against Mike Howes.
Not hard.
In a team that didn't look very good at all. So he was the shining light. I don't know. I mean, I probably could have looked good in that Broncos side last night. So, but yeah, I got him in the second or third round.
I think our stance on Payne Haas depends on where you draft in the first. So if you're drafting from like pick 8, I wouldn't be taking Payne Haas with your 12th, 13th pick. But if you're drafting from like pick 3, pick 4, Payne Haas at like 16, 17, 18, more palatable to be taking. But you hit nail on the head. The good thing with Payne Haas is his best day is his worst day. But the bad thing with Payne Haas is his worst day is his best day. So yeah. there's not much room for any kind of upside here when it comes to Payne Haas. Hey, we're talking about upside and guys that we're taking in the second round. I'm going to skip Jordan Rapana just for now. And I want to touch on Angus Crichton because this is a guy that I have over Payne Haas because of the ceiling that he has. He's not quite a first rounder, but he's there or there. But I think he's going 12th to 14th, 15th. Is that fair to say when it comes to Big Gus?
It's strange. It's strange because last year I feel Gussie had a bit more hype coming into the draft. He's a guy that's not getting spoken about a lot right now. He's a bit of a sneaky one right now. Angus Crichton, a lot of people hate him because they hate the Roosters. That's just is what it is, especially where I'm from anyway. But Angus Crichton, yeah, he was my guy going into last year's draft. I knew that I knew very few things that needed to happen in last year's draft, but I needed to leave with Angus Crichton on my side. I knew that, and his judiciary record's a bit of an issue. And to be fair, it's a bit self-inflicted. He does play on the edge, that's for sure. His crusher tackles just seem to happen to him like every couple of weeks. Hopefully he's figured that out. We're chucking a lot of guys in that second or third round, but hey, we can put 20 in there, right? So I'll chuck him in there too. His ceiling is there. He can score tries. Hell, he can set up tries too. And he's on that team where we're talking about sharing touches, but in some cases, he's the last one to touch the ball. So he's one of the guys that they're passing to, and he racks up those meters. He's got good work ethic too. He's in there and getting amongst it. Only downside on him is the judiciary, I think.
Yeah, and he's probably a little bit too versatile as well. Anything that happens, it's either him or Satilia that sort of move to the centres. But it's not a long-term thing. It's not a Kurt Mann situation where he'll fill a hole for a couple of weeks. He might move to the centres for the rest of the game, and then he'll be back in the 2RF next week when Robbo fixes his side. So, yeah, Angus Crichton, he presents all the upside in the world. He had a fantastic try-scoring record last year. I really don't see why that slows down, especially with Luke Keary back in the side. That side should be clicking, humming, and yeah, Angus Crichton, very, very keen to get him sort of top of the second.
Yep. Well, having said that, let's chuck Jordan Rapana and not touching him, eh?
Can we? I feel he's a bit of an is what it is. Like, if you get Rapp sick, he's a very good centre wing. He'll rack up tackle busts. He's on a strike side when it comes to the Raiders. If I wound up taking Jordan Rapana at the right time, caveat that at the right time, I ain't reaching for him because he's a name.
Yeah.
But he's got a good tackle bust in him. He's got a try in him. He's a good, powerful runner. I feel he's an is what it is, man. Jordan
Rapana has zero trade value.
He does.
He's not a name that excites anyone. In the draft, Joey Manu has trade value. And okay, I have seen his stats. I think that's one of the things. And for me, he has no trade value because I'm not going to trade for Jordan Rapana. But he went on a bit of a run last year, didn't he? Where he's got a couple good scores over and over and over. Yeah, I guess he is. It is what it is. I suppose we've made it a bit hard for ourselves because after the 5th round, we've just gone not touching him or it is what it is. So, I mean, in the 6th or 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th.
No.
If you're picking up,
I'm thinking if you get Rafts at the 6th, you've done very well because he'll average it. He'll average a 60. He's not a guy.
Let's put him in.
He's not a guy that I'm just putting the red line through straight away.
Yeah, okay. I wouldn't say that I'm not interested at all. I am interested. Does
Hey, come on,
tickle my fancy?
If you're telling me if you're at the 7th round and Rapin is there, are you not going? Oh, you know what? That's actually some good value.
Yeah, I probably am actually. To be fair, yeah. Get it. I just don't like the milk this year. You know, I just don't really excite me. But
hey, Jack Whiten's on the revenge trail, mate. The milk could be on the up.
You know, you could actually get him a bit later because the amount of blokes that go into a draft and go, he's out for 2 weeks, I'm not touching him. It's
100%.
just ridiculous. So you probably could get him a bit later. Nah, chuck him in as it is what it is. Don't reach for him, but if he falls to you, yeah, snatch him up.
The Munstache.
Yeah,
First. Eighth, 9th pick. Build your side around the
Yeah,
the
he's got to be, right? He's got to be. He wasn't on a lot of lists for a lot of time. He was not. Another guy, best day's his worst day. Doesn't have a ceiling, blah, 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 blah. But everyone's forgetting that he's given up the drink and he's going to win the Dally M.
He's also got that Sean Lane haircut. Now, how much stock we putting into the slick back, overgrown?
He looked like the Beetle they left behind 2 weeks ago. He's playing right now, actually, as we record. We probably should be watching the Melbourne game. But
we should be.
He's probably been injured in this game and we didn't know about it. But Money, he looked ridiculous with that haircut 2 weeks ago. He looked like he just washed his hair the night before. That hair looked like it was sticking to his face. Did not look comfortable. But Money, like another guy, best day's his worst day. But to a degree, he does have a couple games where he'll ton up for you. 5'8" is a puddle, and I'm not a guy that's like, you got to get this position in because there's not many of them. I go, you get the guy in who scores the points. That's how you win the game. You get points on the board. You don't get positions on the board. But 5'8" just does not exist, man. Like, it just isn't even a thing. So if you can get arguably the best 5'8" in the world after another guy, yeah, chuck him in. I like it.
How do you feel about bombing a first-round pick on Munster and then seeing him run out round 2 with a clean face?
Oh, I'd trade him straight away and not even do a team. I'd trade him to the waivers.
For anyone not understanding that reference, the Don did a fantastic piece with NRL Roast about how productive and how good Munster becomes when he has the mustache. So it
sounds ridiculous. It sounds ridiculous. Go watch that video.
Stats don't lie.
It's insane. There's a science to it.
Stats don't lie, but right now, Munster bottom of the first round. If you've drawn the short end of the straw and you've got like pick 8, 9, 10 in your draft, don't fret because you'll pick up the Mad Dog and you can build around that. Hey, Mad Dog into a Gussie stack or Mad Dog into a Reed stack, or that's nice.
Yeah, Eminem. I think I'm feeling that Eminem. Eh,
2 good positions.
In my home league, the 8-man shambles in my home league that we talk about all the time. These boys are. They're not the clowns. They're the whole bloody circus. These boys in my home league. I'm in a few other leagues. I'm in a league with 2 leagues with Joshy. I'm in another podcasters league with the Rubbers and the Headbin boys, and they're a bit harder to draft in. But my boys, my gosh, I might even get Money and Marnie in the second round here. So I got 3 in the second round in my home league. So yeah, I'm looking at that now. Very interested.
Hot take. AJ, not touching him.
Not touching him. Yep, not interested.
Because he's going to go so high. Like, people are going to take him so high. People are going to take him at, like, the end of the second, which, ridiculous.
And it's funny, because we got Joey Manu and Rapana there, as it is what it is, but we're not touching AJ, because he's going to go in the 3rd round. Yep. Don't reach for him. Don't do it. Like I always say, 23 points without a try. Small sample size, because he often scores a try.
Plenty of tries.
You know, if he scores, I believe, if he matches last year's try scoring record, that puts him at 150 tries. Freak. So, so yeah, absolutely ridiculous. He does score, but that left edge, it is going to be different. Souths aren't beating teams by 50 this year. It's just going to be different, guys. I couldn't, in good faith, recommend picking up Alex Johnston this year.
If Alex Johnston,
and listen, I'm happy to eat my words because if he goes in the 3rd round and averages 60. And people say to me, see, you should have taken him. I'll say, look through how many matchups did that bloke lose when AJ did nothing.
Yeah.
He's not. He is a matchup winner, but he's a guy that could lose you your matchups too.
It's not going to happen. But if he's there at the end of the 4th round, you then got to take him. There's some value at the end of the 4th, but he won't be there. He'll be at the top of the 3rd.
It depends on the size of your league. If you're in a 10 or a 12, 14, like do somehow. Leagues like that get around, blow my mind. But in a 12-man or a 14-man, if he's there in the fourth, yeah, you pick him up. I guess, yeah, you pick him up.
Big
but
caveat.
in a 8 to 10, nah, can't do it.
No. Hey, the sexiest man in the NRL, Big Cam Murray, got the armband on, leading the troops.
Yep. Second to third, right?
Second to third. Now, Gussie versus Big Muzz.
Tough.
And
I love that it's a real life rivalry too.
If we've got Big Gussie somewhere between 11th and 13th, I've got Muzz somewhere 15 to 17.
I remember at the start of the offseason, you were hotter on you thought Murray was number 1, 2 RF coming in, eh?
Yeah, and then I don't know, just Gus. I feel like we're gonna get so much value out of him because people are sleeping on him, and that's pushed him up.
The thing I think with Murray, he lends his game to other players. Like one guy that I really am excited to see him work with this year is Damien Cook. If you haven't watched really much of Murray play, if you just look at Supercoach stats, you might not know. But Cameron Murray has one of the fastest play the balls in the world. He gets up off the deck and plays the ball to a little fella called Damien Cook, who you might not know is one of the fastest hookers in the world.
Did you know he was a beach sprinter?
Who?
Damien Cook. I don't know if you've ever heard, but he's a beach sprinter.
What's worse? The beach sprinter joke, or us joking about the beach sprinter joke?
or Tom Flegler, the banana farmer. That's a good one as well.
But you know that the Turbo Brothers old man owned a tomato farm. Did you know?
Oh, mate, news to me. But no, look, the combination between South 9 and 13 is ridiculous. They go hand in hand with each other. And if you could somehow pick up Cook early in the third after taking Murray late in the second, wow.
Yeah. Yep. Wow. I'm getting worried, Joshy. We're not putting a lot of guys in first or fourth here. But Murray's not fourth rounder for me. He's a borderline early second.
Yeah, so borderline early second. Probably mid to late, definitely.
Yeah.
Hey, another hot take. Tohu Harris. He can join my boy Luke Thompson and Alex Johnson down the bottom.
Yeah, I would have probably punched you square in the face if you said that to me last year.
Of course.
This is a guy that's carried my team 3 years. 3 years, he gets me through thick and thin. Does not play State of Origin. Never misses games. Except for last year where he went down injured. This guy, Payne Haas levels of production without the price tag. Honestly, it is. But with that injury, with the Warriors seeming to just be okay. Man.
He's 30.
Do you get that vibe from the Warriors that they're just fine with him not being there?
Yeah, I mean, they've got the new shiny toy in Josh Curran, who we'll touch on in this episode, but he's 30 coming off the back of an ACL. He'll be back sort of round 8 to round 10. He's going to take...
It's a long hold.
He's going to take 6-7 weeks to bounce back, and by that time it's round 17, and people will be taking him with the fourth round. So do you want your fourth round pick only coming good in like week 17?
Other thing with Tohu is like he just that ACL. What's the stat? No one's come back off an ACL and improved or something like that.
Only one person. Shout out to the NRL physio. Only one person has come back off the back of an ACL and improved their score, and that was RTS with only 2 points improved on the average.
Yeah.
If Tohu was going like the 6th, 7th round, I'd stomach it much better. But people are still going to draft him way too high, and ACLs you come back slow. There's no two ways about that.
And these guys that in your draft league, if you have 4 spots on the bench, that's a long hold.
Yeah.
That is a long hold.
It's not
in my league, in a couple of my leagues, I think I got 7 on the bench. I could probably do it, just because I know he's got value. But yeah, I can't touch him. You can't hold someone like that for 10 weeks on your 4-man bench. Unless you're drastically playing auto emergency and trying to rob the boys. I can't recommend it.
It's not like you're taking a 7th, 8th round pick here. Like you've got to drop a 3rd or a 4th to get Tohu.
Yeah,
and you've got to hold him for so long for him to be to be at his peak. For me, I'm not touching Tohu.
No, I can't do it. How about this guy, 4th, 5th rounder, right? Kalen Ponga.
What do we do with KP? Because a lot of people are taking him like mid-second, which to me is ridiculous.
No.
I'm feeling a. It is what it is. Because
that bad. Nah, he's a 4th rounder. Come on.
No, but he's not going to go in the 4th. This is the problem. Like people are going to take him because it's Kalen Ponga, and like he's the man.
Well, in my ranks, another guy, headgear guy. People are saying, I believe if you look at this at my poll right now, people are saying KP is the leader of the headgear patrol. The headgear society needs a leader, not Kalen Ponga. We need a guy like Reed Marnie. I was shocked. Reed Marnie wasn't leading that poll. That little grunt puts his head where I wouldn't put my foot, mate. And we're talking about KP. KP. How many HIAs has he had with the headgear? He's a sham to the headgear society. What are we talking about?
Yeah, but the headgear clearly does stop the HIAs. I mean, that's been scientifically proven.
I will say, as far as the headgear stuff goes, to wrap up a pretty face like that is bold.
Oh, 100%.
You'd think he'd want his hair flowing in the wind.
I can see why Reece Walsh did take his off. Because
you'd sell a few more 257 collective shirts if you had the headgear off. I'll tell you that, Caitlin. I'll tell you that for free.
What do we do?
But I got you the 4th or 5th round. I do like if he does have upside.
Is he going to?
I'm not putting him in as I'll fight you on it. He's a 4th, 5th rounder, but he's going to go on the 2nd or 3rd.
Oh, 100%. And that's what I'm saying. Like, we can put him in the 4th or 5th. But your local Newcastle fanboy, he'll take KP, or your truther that Adam Clune will just feed him good ball all day. We'll take him.
Adam Clune.
We'll take him midway through the 2nd, and when you're sitting there with your Reed Marnie and your Cameron Munster stash, you're doing much better. I feel.
Just an update for you. This still has a long time to go, but Kalen Ponga has 56% of the vote out of Marnie, Hughes, and Ponga for the new leader of the Headgear Society. We're talking about a society. Jonathan Thurston was the captain. Steve Menzies was the captain. I can't do it. Anyway,
I can't.
Hey, I digress.
My eyesight's not.
As your followers watching this on YouTube are looking at this idiot going, "What is he on about?"
Well, the followers of my channel will know that my eyesight isn't fantastic, and I can't decipher who this is in a Queensland jersey.
That is a guy that technically will need to be wearing a Queensland jersey under his jersey this year if he's going to do anything. That's Dane Gagai.
Not touch him straight away.
Not touching him, bro. Not touching him. I penned him in. Me and the Weekly Rubdown did a bet. Loser buys the winner. A steak and a bev at the CAC on Magic Round. I put Dane Gagai as the biggest drop in average in 2022. Playing on that right edge for the Newcastle Knights is one of the worst patches of grass in the world. No one goes out there and succeeds. Nah, I like Gagai. I'm a Queenslander. I like him. I like South. I love everything he's done. I think he's a product of his environment, and his environment in Newcastle right now is shocking. Don't touch him, boys.
Give it a miss. Give it a big miss with Dane Gagai. All right, let's talk the cheese, because he was incredible last year playing hooker. Would have gone way lower than what he ended up finishing. He's got that duel, and we know how dead hooker is. He's going to be playing 13. There's probably merit to take him late 2nd, early 3rd.
Yeah, we're talking about Brandon the Cheese. He's I'll put him in the 2nd or 3rd round as that list fills up and fills up and fills up. Especially on my little laptop screen, I've only got the 2 right now.
We've got half the league in the 2nd round.
Old idiot left his MacBook docket at work. What a classy act. But 2nd or 3rd round for the Cheese. Impressed me over the weekend. Last weekend, I say he's probably playing right now. Another guy that's probably done his hamstring while we're not watching the game. Now, you would have looked like Batman with the signal in the sky should something have happened right now. Yeah. You would have been off this call quick. Brandon Smith, dual position. The only person blowing up my phone is actually, funnily enough, Isaac Johns. So I have to see what's going on there.
Hey, hypothetical. If Cheese didn't have hooker eligibility, 4th to 5th?
Yeah, right. Oh, that's funny that I just mentioned old mate's name talking about the Cheese, but I'll put actually no, you know what, Josh? I'm gonna put him 4th to 5th now.
Oh, I can't. I can't, because the backlash that we'll get, mate. And the fact that
I can take the backlash.
I think the fact that he's got hooker eligibility, and we'll see how top heavy this hooker class is when there's only going to be 3 decent ones featured. And the next man on the list, he's lost his hooker eligibility, which puts him down in my list when it comes to Ben Hunt. I mean, if he was
4th to 5th,
if he was halfback hooker, straight in there because he's the guy at the Dragons. Like, he is the man. He won the Charity Shield on his back yesterday. Like, it was,
For the first time in 9 years, I was trying hard to make a video today, trying to find something funny that happened in 2012. I couldn't find anything good enough to put in the video, but I'll hit you with some. Hunger Games came out in 2012.
Wasn't that the year that the world was going to end?
Yeah, the world was going to end. Ted came out in 2012.
Jesus.
Hunger Games came out in 2012. That's the last time they won a bloody Charity Shield. The world did end for them. And so,
I reckon Corey
the Dragons.
I reckon Corey Parker may have been my captain in Supercoach that year as well, mate. That's how long ago it was.
Bro, I wasn't even playing Supercoach back then. I'll tell you that. I was still just a little bubby. So Benny Hunt, I'm going to put him in 4th or 5th.
I'm feeling 4th.
It's funny with Ben Hunt. I had a bit of an epiphany one day. I was like, you know what? The amount of crap I give Ben Hunt, as we all know, I've got the mural in my room of the Broncos losing the grand final to my beloved Cows. And so I've got Ben Hunt's photo on my wall. And I'm like, you know what? I need to do a redemption story about Ben Hunt and Supercoach. And I'll be honest, I couldn't make the video. There wasn't much there. Like,
Ben Hunt,
compared to the rest of his class, he's just like so fine. You know what I mean? He's just...
When it comes to the actual NRL, though, like, he's come back. Like, he's a very good footballer.
Right.
Like, anyone could have followed after that. And I feel like if Ben Hunt didn't drop that ball in the grand final, we talk about him very differently. Or not we, but, like, the mainstream talk about him very differently. The casual NRL fan. Because I reckon the casual NRL fan still sees him as, like, oh, you know, Butterfingers. But he's good. Like, Ben Hunt has thrived everywhere he's been. Origin, he does it. Like, as a Queensland fan yourself, man, like, he's very good for Origin.
He came in last year in Game 3 and did what he had to do to get us that win. He came and settled the ship. That's what we needed. I hope that he starts next year. I'll be honest. I hope he gets the job over DCE. That's how I feel.
Spicy. That is a hot take.
Listen,
very,
I'm
very
happy.
warm.
DCE right now is the Australian captain. Oh, so the Australian halfback. I don't know if he's captain. As funny as that is, with then Cleary saying that's all right. I don't mind, as he's punching the air and asking Dad what's going on. But but I think Ben Hunt, honestly, I'd like him as the Queensland captain. You know why? DCE, I've said this story before. When I was at Origin Game 2 last year, game was on the line. DCE, I was sitting there, and about 20 metres in front of me it happened. Jerome Luai, Jersey dragged DCE about 10, 15 metres. DCE just got up and played the ball. I'm like, no, not here. Not in Suncorp Stadium wearing that jersey. Do you get dragged 10 metres by Jerome Luai, get up and play the ball like nothing happened? You cannot do that. Ben Hunt wouldn't have done that.
No.
And so I want Ben Hunt in there.
All right, just we'll get Ben Hunt in there. Ben Hunt's in the 4th or 5th category, which is starting to fill up. And look, I've made my thoughts on Josh Curran pretty clear when it comes to classic.
It is what it is.
I was going to say we need to get this 4th or 5th tier pumping up, but I'm happy with it. Is what it is. If you get Curran somewhere in that 4th or 5th, awesome. If someone takes him in the 3rd, then I don't want to be them.
Yeah,
Hey.
nah, can't take him that early. I think he will go that early off average last year, but nah, for me it is what it is. If you get Joshy, that's great. If you don't, that's all right.
Center wing,
Even if like it is what it is kind of I buy that for the 5th round too.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to say is like if you get him in the 5th round, that's great. But I'm saying if you got your eyes on someone else, don't launch at him. Like if you got your eyes on one of these other guys we have in there, don't launch for Josh Curran. If he falls to you where you are, that's great. And your guy's gone, that's great. If not, nah.
I don't have my eyes on Matt Burton. Center wing of the year, no eligibility right there.
4th to 5th for
I'm
me
not
with a
touching him.
push for 3rd. I'm high on him. I'm coming round on him. And he wears a bloody headgear. I'm there. I wasn't there. I wasn't happy with him. I didn't care for him. Did a little bit more looking. I think what he averaged last year when he played in the half, 65, was it?
Yeah, but that's at the Panthers. We're at the
Yeah,
Broncos.
I
We're at the
know,
Bulldogs now.
but I think, I feel like I said the same thing about Kyle last year. He's coming into a team. He knows he's the guy. It's going to be his team. I feel like he's going to draw a lot of attention, and he's going to be able to put guys like TPJ through. Guys like, I don't know, the Fox is available to him. I mean, that's not a bad one to try. He doesn't mind a kick game. I got him in 4th or 5th, just with how small that 5'8" is, bro.
All right.
There's nothing there.
The back end of 4th or 5th.
The front end.
When we rejig these at the end, he ain't coming up much in my book. We'll put him in 4th or 5th now to keep you happy.
It depends on which bearded guy with glasses that wears hats you ask, but I'll go with 4th or 5th front end.
Hey, Cookie, second and third.
Yep, put him in.
Get him in there.
The disrespect on his name is ridiculous.
Hey, Tyson Frizzell, a guy that always goes slept on that you could pick up in the middle of the fourth, top of the fifth. He's a guy that you could just build around. Solid enough hands.
Fourth to fifth.
Fourth to fifth
I
for
like
Tyson
that.
Frizzell.
Joshy Mansour. Not touching him.
Less said the better. Not touching him, but Joshy Mansour, unfortunately. Hey, if you asked me this 2 months ago, first overall, just over turbo, get him in there straight away. Bicep index off the charts. But I'm starting to go a little bit cold on Matto.
I'm going second or third on him.
Late third.
Early third, maybe.
Middle third. We'll compromise middle third.
So I just think when you take out those games that he was injured and played half of, what do you average, Joshy? Like 70, 75, something like that?
Games that he played on the right edge, I shouldn't know this stuff off the top of my head, but I do. Games that he played on the right edge, over 70 minutes, 77 points a game.
Oh, second or third round.
Yeah.
Easy as you like.
But is he going to play a bit of lock? That's what worries me. Is he going to get the minutes? Is the HIAs the issue? Do we want to be spending a third round pick on a guy who could be only playing half the year? These are all questions that you're going to have to ask yourself on draft day. And, I mean, you don't win draft playing safe, do you, Donny? So if we're going to take a punt on Matto, then he could definitely be a league winner if you pick him up at the right time, middle of the third.
Yep. Jeez, I've just looked at the time. We've been waffling for a bit. We'll go some quick fire with this, eh?
It is what it is.
It is. Will Kennedy, it is what it is. Fourth or fifth for
Mitch
me.
Barnett, it is what it is.
Mitch Barnett, it is what it is. But what are we saying about Will Kennedy?
It is what it is for Will Kennedy. That's. I think.
On my list, he's in fourth or fifth.
No, because I feel like he's not going to do much different to Matt Duffy. I mean,
yeah, fair enough. I'll put him and Matt in the same tier. Yeah. That's fair. Val Holmes, not touching him.
Oh, yeah.
As much as that hurts.
Yeah, true.
It's just he wants to play on the centers. He's playing for a team where he kicks goals for a team that probably won't need to kick a lot of them. No. Not interested. Reece Walsh.
If we're putting Matt Duffy and Will Kennedy in, it is what it is. I don't see why Reece Walsh jumps ahead of them.
Nah, put him in there too.
Who's it?
I don't know who we have here.
Is this big Jesse Ramian?
No, I believe that might be Matty Cavallo.
No, that's Ramian in the Sharks jersey.
I'll put him down with Katoa then. Not interested.
Oh, I'm feeling a 5th round pick here for Ramian.
Ooh.
Spicy. If Hines is going to be playing on the right-hand side, big caveat if Hines is playing on the right. But he's talked up Britton Nakora, who plays on the right-hand side. Jesse Ramian's going to be outside Britton Nakora. And then, yeah.
If we put Rapiner in it is what it is, I reckon we'll bump him up to it is what it is.
All right, then. It is what it is for Jesse Ramian.
Ruben Garrick.
Oh, far out. This one is...
First rounder.
I don't know if
First rounder.
No, I can't.
Right?
No, I can't.
First rounder, bro. Gotta be.
No.
Gotta be.
Where?
Gotta be.
Where in the first round?
Late.
Where though?
9-10. Listen, if you're down at 9-10, that is not the time to be taking base players. That is not the time to be taking security options. If you're at 9-10, you're in a bit of an issue. You are going to go back-to-back here. Grab Ruben Garrick if he's there. For one, the guy that with Turbo doesn't get to get him. For two, Ruben Garrick's got a ridiculous ceiling. And then on your pick in the second and third round, that's when you grab your Reed Marnie, DCE. Ooh, a DCE, Garrick stack perhaps? Hello? Is that what we're saying?
It's on offer.
So I put Garrick in first round for me.
All right, you've convinced me. We'll put him there, but I'm very keen to have the debate in, 10 picks time as to where we're going to list another one. Hey, Sammy Walks.
Fourth to fifth.
I'm keen. Oh, yeah, fourth to fifth. I wouldn't take him with a third, so fourth to fifth sounds good to me. Hey, James Fisher-Harris lost his jewel.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. Yeah, I was going to say not touching him because someone's going to take him too high, but if you get him at a good enough time.
Yeah.
But when's a good enough time? Like 6th round? 7th round?
Yeah, that's good value, I feel. In the 6th, if you get him in the 6th, even back end of the 5th, it's okay. But if we got AFB down there and it is what it is, then I'm happy to put the fish there too.
All right, 4th or 5th round for Luciano Leilua, I'm feeling, straight off the bat.
Yeah. That game that he played the other night just reminded everyone what he can do.
Hey, is this the Fox?
Not touching
Not touching
him,
the Fox. Absolutely not a chance.
Sorry
nor am I
about it.
touching Cameron McInnes.
Oh,
Spicy, but he's going to get overdrafted. I mean,
4th or 5th round. Come on now.
I don't know if I can do that.
Come on now.
All right.
He's gotta be. He's gotta be.
All right. Fifth round.
Joshy Schuster.
I don't know. It is what it
4th
is.
or 5th round.
Okay. It is what fourth or fifth round for Joshy Schuster.
I keep coming back to this 5'8" being a puddle. I know you got to wait 4 weeks to watch him play. I know it's hard. But Josh Schuster, as a second rower, playing in 5'8" in a world where there's not many 5'8s, yeah, get him in, I reckon.
Jerome Luai, looking like
Fourth to
like
fifth.
Tarzan.
4th to 5th, right?
Absolutely. Stefano Utoi Ikamanu.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. Any of these sort of middle forwards, I guess we could put in this "it is what it is" category. Is this big Tony Staggs?
2nd to 3rd round for me.
Not a chance. Not a chance.
Second to
no,
third round for me.
no. You're not serious. You're not serious.
He's not happy.
Wait,
2nd to 3rd round for me.
No. You're not. No, you're not.
I'm dead
spending
serious.
A third, no. You're not spending a third round pick
Dead
on Tony
serious.
Staggs.
Yeah, Cartoni Staggs, 2nd to 3rd round. Bloke, he just might be the best center in the world.
All right, for anyone watching this, I'll put him in 2nd and 3rd. I'm not happy about this at all. Not at all. I'm feeling like a late 4th for Tony. Like,
If Cartoni Staggs isn't the best center in the world, who is?
Zach Lomax.
Yeah, exactly. So what are we talking about?
Hey,
When this guy, when he played against the Titans, my goodness gracious, he made them look like idiots. He looked a bit like an idiot himself in defense. That wasn't very good, but hey, it's only 1 point for a tackle. Going forward, in Supercoach, he is electric. I don't forget 2020. I know it was a little while ago, but I don't forget Katoni Mania.
But
2nd to 3rd round for me.
He only averaged like 62 though.
Bro, but what was he ceiling like? We know Katoni can blow the roof off Suncorp Stadium.
All right, let's this is
Agree to disagree?
No. That's fine. I reckon this is the most interesting one to talk about. Oh,
4th to 5th. Yeah?
not even. Really?
It is what it is?
Not even.
You're not touching him?
Lolo.
Oh.
I'm not.
Jason Tamalolo is not getting touched. If you gave me Katoni, I guess I can give you Lolo.
All right, yeah. If I'm conceding the Tony debate, we've got to consider the Lolo debate. What's gonna make us think that he's gonna just drastically improve? Like, my ticket keeps playing up. What makes you think he's gonna improve? Like, as a Cowboys fan yourself, mate, I want to hear your thoughts legitimately on Big Lolo, because I'm gonna chuck him in, not touching him now. But while I do that, tell me your thoughts.
You asked me what about him as a Cowboys fan makes me think he'll improve, and the answer was in the question. Because he needs to as a Cowboys fan.
He has to.
It's blind faith. That's all it is. If he's playing prop, that's where the value is, because they will change positions this year. Now, that is a punt of all punts. And if we're putting Tohu and not touching him, then I'm happy then to put Lolo there. But it is a punt, but it's something that could come up trump sphere. Because if you can get Lolo, if he eventually gets that front row forward duel, which if Toddy Payton does play him in the front row, he will get, that's good value there. If you can get Lolo in front row, I like that a lot.
I will say, if you guys are if your league is drafting off averages, you'll get Lolo at a steal. Mate, remember when you and I did a mock draft? We did a 10-man mock draft just between you and I, and Lolo went to like the 11th.
Back in December, we forgot about him.
He went to like the 11th round.
Mm-hmm.
So there definitely is, like, if your league is drafting off averages, you'll pick Lolo up at a juicy price. I'm not looking at touching Lolo before the 7th round. Just quietly.
No.
All right, so we put Garrick in the 1st round, and the reason
And
why...
this guy goes next to him.
Okay, so where, though? In your top 10, is he straight after him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's close. Maybe another one gone. I've got Garrick ahead of Toto.
Is it because Garrick
I
has
did
is
like
it
that
because he has the
Tago's
better
playing out there,
ceiling?
not Crichton. That does help things, because if Crichton was there, Toto dropped in my ranks quite a bit.
Yeah.
But after the trials, it looks like Tago's going to get the nod, and he's going to be playing next to Toto, and a guy like that might be going, here, Brian, you take it. So I think Bizza can still get his work done. It was funny. I was talking to people the other day, and they said the reason they think Toto's going to go down in his production is because coaches are going to start saying, stop letting this fucking winger score 200 run meters against us every game. It is embarrassing, which I totally get behind as well. But you can try all you like. I don't think you're going to be able to stop it. So I got Toto in the first round. I would never in a million years have thought I'm putting center wings in the first round, but those two boys, yeah, I probably got them there.
I had Brian Toto as my 7th overall pick way back when Supercoach opened up. This was back in early December. So he was 7th on my draft board. I've probably called on him a little bit now, but still, yeah, a first round pick in 12-man drafts, I would say.
This is the question I have. If you're a 12-man draft, do you go 12-13 Toto Garrick?
Oh, God, that could be...
I've seen some guys do it. That's some rocks and diamonds shit right there. I got sent some teams yesterday.
That could be 380 points just out of 2 players.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And that's how you win leagues, by putting your balls on the line. But geez, I don't know if my balls are pretty big, but I don't know if they're that big. But
in my main draft last year, I had Toto and Garrick. Caveat, I got Toto way down, like the 6th, 7th round.
Yeah, I think I got him in the 6th round last year.
I got Garrick off the waivers.
Yeah, you're talking my language, yeah.
And now we're putting him in the first round.
I'll put him there. If you can get Toto Garrick, I have had one beer, so I'll be able to lean back on that, saying that I wasn't thinking straight. But if you can get Toto and Garrick,
especially no captains leagues.
Oh yeah,
because
that's playing with a captain right there.
Because then the risk is not there. Like for example, like if you play in a captain's league, you probably have to take a safer guy in the first round. Is it fair to say?
Yeah,
but if you're not playing in a captain's league, yeah, you can punt on these Rocks Diamonds guys because it's like if you come up against Turbo, you're not worried about conceding 400 points.
Yeah.
Whereas like if you have Garrick Toto, like you can make up that with no captains easily.
I think with if you get Toto and Garrick in, there's not too many teams that you don't have a higher ceiling than. Week to week, when you're looking at the teams that you're playing, there wouldn't be too many guys in your league that you look at and go, I might have him. Come Sunday afternoon, I might be able to do this.
Yeah.
So
man. Like
yeah,
if Manly and the Panthers are playing on the Sunday, like in the 2 games, obviously not against each other, but if they're playing like both the games on Sunday, and you're 350 points behind with just those 2 to play, you're not out of it.
Yeah,
not by any means.
To say.
All right, Zach Lomax 4th to 5th. I'm very keen on Lomax this year.
Yeah, I might even put him in 2nd or 3rd since we've like got not many people left, and
since you put Katoni,
he probably deserves it, right?
2nd or 3rd, late 3rd, definitely could feel Zachy Lomax. Another interesting one this
year.
I
like him.
Cody Walker tore it up in the Charity Shield. Average does drop off without A-Ray historically, but he looks ready to go.
He's a first rounder, bro.
First rounder, absolutely, with Cody.
Latrell Mitchell.
Another first rounder. No questions asked for me. Another first rounder, Ryan Pappenhausen, no questions asked.
Yep. Now, so how many we got in our first round now?
We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in the first round, and I don't think we're going to be adding to it with Nico Hines.
No. All right. Let's put him in 2nd or 3rd. Yeah. 3rd. Nico. I've said a lot about Nico. I said everything we need to say.
Hey, Adam Doueihi.
It is what it is.
Oh, I was thinking not touching him.
No. Come on.
The fact that he is available at centre wing is huge.
Yeah. That's the thing. If he was 5'8" only, yeah, it sucks. But he's a centre wing, and he's most likely playing in the centres. So it's okay. You can make it work. I like him. He is worth a hold for me because even in the centres last year, he tore it up. It is what it is. Don't reach for him. I would even hazard to say I personally might pick him up in the 4th or 5th. I probably couldn't recommend everyone doing it. I just have massive raps on the guy. And Josh probably end the call straight away if I said that. Yeah, it is what it is.
The question is, where does he play? Because if Jackson Hastings is tearing it up, does Madge just shift him to centre like they did last year? That worries me.
I think he plays in the centres. Like Jackson Hastings looked okay, right?
Yeah,
in the trial against the Roosters. And he looked good to me. So I don't know what Doueihi's different or better. If Hastings cements himself in, I don't think there's any assurances for Doueihi to be playing 5'8". But because he is centre wing, I'll be drafting him. Hell, you know what? Maybe I do draft him into 5'8", given just how small the 5'8s are.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll probably put him in. It is what it is, just based off the fact that the injury's there and there's a few questions.
Let's add another one to the 2nd, 3rd. I've got Gutho above all the other guys. I've got Gutho above the Dufties, the Reece Walshes of the world. I think he's that bridge. He's that bridge between Latrell, Pappenhausen, and Teddy, and he's the bridge between someone like Dufty or Reece.
Yeah, I mean, and Gutho's a guy that there's not a lot of trade value on him. People are just like, oh, I don't like Parramatta, so I don't like Clint Gutherson. I mean, I think you got a tweet at you today saying that there's like 6 or 7 fullbacks ahead of Clint Gutherson in the NRL, so it's just ridiculous.
Disgusting. Hey, I reckon you'd be able to flip. I reckon you'd be able to flip Gutho to your league, Muppet. After
that's what you do. The Gutho flip, brother.
After
the Gutho
Parramatta,
flip.
After Parramatta goes 7-1 and Gutho averages like fucking 90.
That's what he did last year.
You'd be
in
able
the
to flip
first
him.
10 rounds, he averaged 90.
You'd be able to flip him.
So
we've got a couple of back-to-back first rounders here in Harry Grant, and we'll touch on him in a second. But obviously Tom Trbojevic is going first, straight at the top. No questions asked there. Harry Grant. So why do we have Harry Grant as a first rounder and a middling first rounder at that, and someone like a Reid Marnie not?
I don't.
Is it just because it's the done thing to do?
I don't. I'm thinking about it now. I don't have him there. Let him fall. Because I'm thinking about it, right? And I know we fire from the hip a little bit here. Not everything makes sense, and you kind of got to take what I say with a grain of salt. My last sentence is how I feel at the moment. But as we're looking at all these guys, and I'm looking at who's in the first round, Harry is there because he plays hooker. Full stop. Full stop. That's why he's there. He's got an okay average, but Harry's there because he plays hooker. And everyone freaks out that there's no hookers.
He has an okay average after playing like 6 minutes a game last year, though. Like if he's playing 80, come on, man.
Yeah, but he won't be playing 80.
Why would
Brandon Smith exists?
Yeah, but Brandon Smith's playing 13, and Brandon Smith.
You reckon Harry won't take a break?
I reckon Harry plays 70 minutes minimum.
I just think in a world where you got the Australian hooker and the Kiwi hooker on the same team, they share the minutes, bro.
Yeah, but one of them's off to Bondi and Craig.
Yeah, but you have said to me that Melbourne are in the premiership winning business.
100%, but they don't have a 13. Like they don't have any locks. Like Cheese will do a job at lock. And I just think Harry could just pump out. Like he struggled last year with injuries. He's come back fresh. He looks real fit. He's got the head tape. Like, we've got to add some head tape factor. Like, that's adding some point. Mate, I've got
poor man's headgear. Man's headgear. If Harry comes out, if he's playing tonight in a headgear and I'm not aware of it, he probably is a first rounder.
He's got the long Munster hair, a little bit longer than Munster's, with the tape around it, and it's not even like black tape. It's like the cream strapping tape.
I'm saying it, Josh. I'm saying it, Whisperer. He's not a first rounder for me.
82 average Harry Grant. We'll leave him in first. If we're putting Containing Stags at second and third, we've got to put Harry at first.
That's my little pipe bomb of the day.
Right.
Actually, as I'm saying it out loud, as I'm so close to drafts, because Josh, are you taking him?
Yes.
You're going to take him?
People that follow me know how much I throb.
In Classic, obviously, but
no,
are you going to take him in draft?
Your
5th overall pick?
No, I'm not taking him.
You taking him?
I'm taking him 6.
You're 6?
I'm taking him 6.
You taking him at 6?
100%.
You taking him?
100%.
I don't know.
In a captain's league only.
Yeah, right. In a non-captain's
league, probably not.
That's what I'm saying.
But I still.
Who plays captains now? Unless your name's Natty and you're off your chops.
No, but
who plays captains?
Come on, though. Like, if we're taking Mad Dog in the first round,
Mad Dog.
Why aren't we taking Harry?
He has a little spice about him. He's got a little something there.
He can do the 1-2 shimmy go. He's off. He's straight in the middle.
I'm just, I might be thinking myself into it. I'm just getting trap vibes.
No.
I just think you'll be upset. Remember when we took Damien Cook in the first round last year?
Yeah.
He was a sure thing. There was no questions about him at all. And I'm just thinking it into existence a bit. I just don't think hookers, you don't win championships with hookers.
Oh, you don't, but when there's Harry Grant, Damien Cook, and Reid Marnie, and then the next best is Jake Turpin, I think you've just got to pay up for Harry Grant. I feel.
But what I'm saying is Harry Grant a first rounder if I can get Reid or Cookie in the second? You know what I mean?
I understand.
Easy?
I understand what you're saying, but there's no concerns with me over Harry Grant. Like
I hear that.
You can make a case.
I had no qualms about Damien Cook going 7th overall last year. Nobody did.
Yeah,
it was what was meant to happen.
I might be reading too much into this, but Parramatta have signed Mitch Rain, and Melbourne and South have signed Saliva Havili. Guys that can cover. Reid Money, who's had injuries in the shoulder, he's leaving next year. Damien Cook ain't getting any younger. And we're relying on this like new coach factor. Whereas like Harry Grant, for me is like
No, but last year, South were odds-on favourites to win the whole thing. So last year, Cook goes in the first round. I'm just saying, Melbourne are very good favourites. Like they're very up there this year. Is it not giving you Cook vibes? And this is all vibe right now. We're just shooting the shit right now. I did not have this written down coming in here. But think back to how you thought about Damien Cook last year. Is that not exactly how you feel about Harry Grant right now?
I'll tell you what. I felt this way about AJ. I felt this way about AJ Brimson as to how I feel about Harry Grant. AJ, remember last year? AJ was like, he was the man. Like we were taking
some of us.
We were taking him like 12th overall. AJ.
Yeah.
All right, we're leaving Harry Grant at first for now, and I mean Teddy. There's no debate needed with Teddy. The only debate is: do you take him at 3 or do you take him at 4?
Yeah, whack him in there. The thing is, I think I might be shooting my foots because how many we got in there now? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 guys. So 11. This is an 11-man draft.
Yeah, 11-man draft. Hey,
if this is a 10-man, I'll drop Harry into second.
I reckon 2 months ago, this guy would have been one of the biggest sleepers in the league. But now, it is who I think it is. I reckon 2 months ago, he would have been one of the biggest sleepers in the league. But now, us classic lot have ruined him for you. And I'm probably going to
put... 4th to 5th.
Selwyn Cobbo, 4th to 5th. I'm putting him it is what it is. I reckon he's just going to go overdrafted.
I'm looking at our tier list right now. We're acting like the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th rounds don't exist. So I'm putting him in 4th to 5th. I got massive raps on him. I think he did okay at fullback. You know, he reminded me a little bit of Latrell's first year at fullback a bit last night. Not exactly there with the defense, but going forward, he's just a monster. And like I say, it's a point off for a missed tackle, right? So going forward, this kid's 6'3". He's got all the youth in the world. Got speed. He's big. If I pick him up in the 4th or 5th round and play him in the centre wings, I'll be happy.
I don't reckon you've got as high raps on anyone on this list as the last man on the list today.
My boy, Tavita Pangai Jr., 2nd rounder. It is that. That's a fact. He's a 2nd rounder. I don't care that he's going to the Bulldogs because he did it at the Broncos when they won the bloody spoon. And he went down to Penrith in a new system and he did it there too. The offload king. And you rest assured, you still get points for an ineffective offload, folks. You still get points. So Pangai Jr., it is fitting that he was the last one out of this randomised list because I just like the bloke so much. He's a unit. He runs hard. He hits hard. Gets himself involved. He does look for work. He loves setting up tries. When there's an offload that comes off him, he loves it. He lives for it. Pangai Jr., I honestly have him neck and neck with Cam Murray, if not a bit above. No one else in the world's going to say that to you. No one else really feels that way. I know. I'm probably beating the Pangai Jr. drum heavier than anyone else will. I've just got so much raps on the bloke. I think he could be anything. And everyone that talks about Pangai just goes, oh yeah, but he's a hothead. He might have some time at the judiciary. But then we'll say, let's take bloody Angus Crichton 13th overall. So it doesn't add up to me. Pangai Jr., freak, monster, get him in.
I remember a game last year with Pangai, and I looked at the game at the end of I've looked at the scores at the end of the game. He had 30 in base, which is not good. He had no tackle busts. Or he might have had one tackle bust, 1 or 2. He had no line breaks. He had no line break assists. He had no tries. He had no nothing. He had 30 points in base. And he scored 90 points that night. And I was like, how?
Yeah.
The bloke had 60 points in offloads.
That's what he does, bro.
Do you reckon he gets that? Do you reckon Trent Barrett just says, oh, I'm not going to try and coach you. Just do whatever you want to do. I don't care.
Mate, go out there, put that weird grey jersey on and do what you got to do.
Oh, how good's the grey jersey?
I said it looks like an AFL jersey with sleeves.
Oh, it did not look fantastic. Hey, mate, that's gonna do up all the tier list.
Yeah, wow, that was 58 old players. That's the longest podcast I've ever done. If you've stuck through us to the end, thanks very much. I'm normally a 30-minute man in and out, but there you go. They asked for it. They asked for the 50-man tier list, and you bloody well got it. Joshy, tell them where they find you.
You can find me on YouTube. Obviously, you'll be watching this on YouTube. You can find me there, the Dual Position Podcast. I am one half of the hosting crew there. I'm also on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I'm not on
blowing up on Twitter with some of these takes over the weekend, aren't we, mate?
I'm not on LinkedIn. I probably should try on that. Maybe add me on MySpace. I might add you to my top 5 friends list. But no, look on all the main platforms. I'm just at SC Whisperer. Yeah. So. And
obviously, if you're watching this on YouTube, find me at NRL Don on pretty much every platform that exists to man. And boys, thanks very much for listening. I'll talk to you all on Friday.
Bye.